As someone who's been here since the early days of Battlefield 3's success, the turbulent launch of Battlefield 4, and near-death lifespan of 2042, as we look towards what could be Battlefield's final title, it honestly feels like the fandom has never been worse. Meanwhile, the stakes have never been higher. As someone with thousands of hours in the franchise, from Xbox 360 all the way to PC, I've grown up with this franchise. I've seen its highest highs like Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 1, and perhaps now its lowest low. A franchise that got me through college as my childhood friends band together in the trenches of Ballroom Blitz. A franchise that made us sweaty high schoolers in the death matches of Nosher Canal, and a franchise that inspired us with the technological leaps we witnessed in Battlefield 4. No matter how bad Battlefield got, it always offered something other games never could. A sense of scale, adventure, and camaraderie you'd never feel in other shooters. Even if Battlefield 1's balance was horseshit or Battlefield 4 would crash, we loved those games and we loved them alongside our friends. However, fast forward a decade and it's almost all gone. The abundance of content, the variety of gameplay, the technological prowess, it's faded. And while this all may sound a little dramatic, understand Battlefield 2042 and Battlefield 5 aren't terrible games, but they're terrible battlefields. While they play just fine with at least serviceable gameplay, they lack anything beyond that. They lack depth, immersion, customization, nor community. The relatable, gritty environments and eerie tone of games such as Battlefield 3 have been left well and truly in the past. And while there's some much bigger issues I'm about to touch on, I feel like what ultimately sent Battlefield down this path was when the developers decided to start designing a game for gameplay instead of emotion. In the past, when the Shanghai Tower fell, or a behemoth raided trenches, or you snagged enemy dog tags with your knife, that made you feel something special, but now, those moments don't really exist. So much of modern-day Battlefield is quiet, cold, and streamlined with sterile, shiny gameplay, with UI that looks and sounds like medical equipment. The music is synthetic, the environments are uninspired, and gameplay is much more on rails than prior titles. And all of this on top of perhaps the greatest launch disaster ever of a AAA game drove what was a gaming juggernaut into limbo. A franchise that isn't dead nor alive, but simply just frozen, hanging, waiting, and not even sure if after all this time, all this money, all these new developers, and 4 whole studios, that it can ever crawl back to where it started decades ago. And that's also where the community stands in limbo alongside a dying icon of gaming's greatest era. A strange time where fans have been endlessly burnt by a franchise they desperately want saved, but perhaps in the back of their mind feel it would just be easier to let go. The community is currently sitting alongside a long sick family member, someone they have decades of fond memories with, but are unsure if they'll ever make it back to that point, and wondering if it's just better to pull the plug. What should be a raging celebration of hype as official news, alpha leaks, and data mining hit our feeds is instead met with a sigh of doubt. We've been living this hell since at least 2021 when Battlefield 2042 first imploded on our screens, and ever since the FPS community, content creators, and even most hardcore fans moved on, leaving EA to shockingly double down and throw even more money at the problem as they now target 100 million players with new multiplayer offerings, a Warzone-style battle royale, and a single-player campaign that's apparently not even close to being ready in time. It's so painful to experience as a hardcore fan because, like I mentioned earlier, Battlefield 1 especially got me through college and kept me connected every day with the very voices you'll hear on this channel like KTM Hero, Gunslinger, and Captain Knowledge. And while Battlefield has every right to be amazing, it feels like it's closer to the grave than it is reviving its glory days. And with 4 full-time studios, well over 1,000 devs, and a couple $100 million budget, the honest truth is, if the next Battlefield doesn't meet these new massive expectations, then perhaps it's time we say our goodbyes and let our beloved franchise go. But guys, drop those comments below and let us know if you're excited for the return of Battlefield or just ready to say goodbye to this dying franchise. Anyways, drop a like and hit subscribe for all your gaming nonsense brought to you by Gaming at Gunpoint, and like always, thank you guys for watching.